if AI takes away a lot of jobs and a country like Brazil needs to supply basic income to their citizens and don't have the money, well, they could borrow money from the World Bank, but probably not really. Well, could they borrow money from the US, from EU, from China? Maybe, but what's the bargain, right? So do you have a competition of superpowers to buy developing countries in exchange for giving them money to pay basic income to avoid like massive chaos, right? So I mean, there's
And you think that's
and
coming sooner than later, Ben? Because we talked about this a little bit last
well,
time.
I think it's coming in years, not decades. I
Right.
mean, I think there is a lot of friction in the adoption of new technologies, right? Like I mentioned last time, my friends who obsoleted the McDonald's drive-through, but I mean, while there's software that will replace that guy behind the drive-through window, it's not deployed widely, although that software has been available for a couple years, right? I mean, like in Asia, in McDonald's, mostly you go and push the hamburger button on the tablet. In the US, you tell a guy, I want a hamburger, then he pushes a hamburger button on the tablet. Like it's not a fulfilling way for anyone to spend their life pushing that hamburger button over and over again, right? So I think this could happen really, really fast if every industry was efficient. They're clearly not. So it takes some number of years for the impact to be felt, and it'll be at different paces in different countries and in different industries. I do think it's years, not decades. And one thing that's becoming increasingly clear then is a lot of the impact of AI on the economy is going to happen before we get to human level AGI, right? I hadn't so much been thinking that before. I've been thinking, okay, you get a human level AGI, it's 10 times smarter than people. It can do every job, but that's fine. It can also like airdrop a molecular nanoassembler in everyone's backyard. You can 3D print all the food and video games and helper robots you want, right? So what seems like may happen is quite a lot of economic disruption is wrought by these sort of closed scope, narrower AIs like ChatGPT type things before you have AGIs that can abolish scarcity and bring on the era of abundance, right? And this I think wreaks a lot of havoc in the developing world. And one thing I find is essentially no one in the US tech industry gives many thought cycles to disruption in the developing world. I mean, I do because I was born in developing world. I spent 10 years in China. I've spent a lot of time in Ethiopia. But I mean, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano thinks a lot about this. But by and large, the whole dialogue on the impact of AI in the US is about the US. And we worry a little about, will China screw up our supply chains? And I think this may be a major mistake, because I mean, the disruptions in the developing world are going to be harder to compensate for and recover from in a simple way. And when you have massive exacerbation of the gap between haves and have-nots, I mean, you often have the have-nots becoming a very disgruntled and unruly, right? And I mean, one can plot out what that might mean. And I do think decentralization has significant power to palliate this, right? And I mean, there's one project I've been pushing for a long time that we may finally be able to act on, which is speech-to-speech translation between African languages. Like Ethiopia has 70 plus languages. Many don't have a writing system, right? If you could use AI to translate from any spoken language in Africa to English, Chinese, Portuguese, any other spoken language of another African tribe next door, right? I mean, then suddenly everyone in Africa who has a feature phone, which is most, becomes part of the global conversation and potentially global economy. Why didn't Google focus on this? Well, because these guys don't click on ads and don't have money to buy a bunch of junk, and Amazon doesn't deliver to, Bangui or Lalibela, right? So I think decentralized AI infrastructure can bring more incentivization to people to use AI to solve developing world problems. And use of AI to solve developing world problems can help ease the negative impact of AI on developing economies. And, the Future of Life Institute doesn't mention this when they make a petition about pausing AI. They're just not thinking about it. I'm a U.S. citizen since birth. My parents are American, but I lived overseas a bunch of my life. I moved back here in 2020, and it's really striking how insular the U.S. mindset is. Like people in America pretty much think about America unless it's thinking about building a wall to keep the Mexicans out, right? And I think this could come back to bite us in the context of centralized AI. It's, on the other hand, it can also help us a lot in the context of decentralized AI, because there's so many brilliant people in the developing world, right? And if you harness them to build the AGI and to shape the AGI's mind and its values, you're drawing in a resource big tech doesn't have, but you're also getting the AGI to have a better feel for the value system of humanity as a whole, rather than just of a few tech bros, right?
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.